All right, what up, y'all? Still in the middle of this move, so everything's still a little scaled back. Fair warning, what we're about to get into is pretty sensitive, so you know, viewer discretion is advised.
Nobody is out here, and our niggas out here. Please don't hurt me, y'all.
Why would we hurt you? You called us.
Okay,
Please. So what'd you hear?
Somebody keeps outside my house, y'all. Please,
Is this your car over here?
Please, God, please, God, please.
Is this your car over here? Oh.
Please, God.
That's not.
Look, she already calling on the Lord, y'all. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be a recurring theme throughout this video. That this woman here calling upon Jesus already when they showed up.
Your black car in the driveway? Oh, well, we checked your yard. We walked around the whole block. We didn't see anybody. Right? You know, we don't. We checked the whole area. There's nobody out walking around.
Trees.
I know, y'all. Please, God, please, God. I'm trying to get help, y'all, but
What do you need help with?
nothing. I just, please, God, please, God.
Please,
I don't know
God.
what to do.
Do with what?
Huh?
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards.
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
All right, so is it just me, like, or like to me this was weird. Like, I don't even understand why they're inside now. To me, it's like, y'all checked, ain't nothing here. You think there's nothing to see here, so you dip, or you think she's maybe having an episode, hearing things, having some sort of situation that needs to be looked at, and they got to just be on the horn with medical people and psychiatric people. There's people who know how to respond if you think somebody is having some kind of mental health episode. But if you're really just, she said she heard something outside, she called the cops, she was spooked, y'all checked the property, and there's nothing going on, then leave the woman alone. I don't understand even now this is going further. And it's already weird to me when they cut to inside. I was like, what? Like, why is this still a thing?
My house in the water?
Yeah.
Hold on, I just hit that by accident. Here we go.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name of
Better.
Yo, I'm sorry. Hang on. I know it's about to happen. I don't want to laugh through it. It was just funny to me the first time I heard her say it when she said that to the cop. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. The way she said it was like so, church lady. But he didn't think it was cute or nothing at all.
Shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot. Drop the pot. Drop the pot.
19 shots fired.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Drop the pot.
Over a pot of water, y'all.
Bring emails now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female. 1078.
We can't even make these jokes, yo. Like when we be joking that with black folks, like you could be in your own kitchen and they treat a pot of hot water like it's a weapon of mass destruction. You can't even make this shit up, y'all. But we get some more information, y'all. Some more information. Let's keep it moving. Let's get some more information on this situation.
Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. A warning to our listeners and viewers, we're about to discuss graphic details.
Yeah, Punk, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why they were in there. I don't understand why they were in there at all. Not at all.
Of police violence. The family of Sonia Massey is demanding justice after the unarmed 36-year-old black woman was shot dead in her own home in Illinois when she called 911 for help. Police initially claimed she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but police body cam footage has just been released and has proved that all to be a lie.
Now, this is Sonia Massey, and this is some other stuff, y'all. Like, it's of course not just the story of another unarmed black person killed by police. It's another story about lies and cover-ups and deception. Not to mention the fact that red flags should have seen this coming. Terrible.
Former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, who's white, has been fired and charged with first-degree murder for fatally shooting Sonya Massey. Grayson did not activate his body cam until after he killed her. But
okay, now I was thinking about this. Y'all heard the expression, when you're being locked up, you get read your Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That needs to be the case with this. First off, if you're a police officer and you're in an incident and you coincidentally don't have your body cam on, that should be like a fireable offense, in my honest opinion, because that has to be so essential, right? You don't leave the station without your gun. You don't hit the streets without handcuffs. You don't forget your walkie-talkie in your locker. So what the fuck is forgetting to turn your body camera on? And this is not the first time we've heard this. We hear this all the time. They're always hiring some racist ass police with some terrible ass history, and then some shit go down, and all of a sudden the motherfucker don't have their body cameras on. I'm sorry, like, we have to stop tolerating this. If there's an incident that goes down and you're a police officer and you don't have your body camera on, that should be a fireable offense right there. But beyond that, and the reason I brought up Miranda rights is it should be enough. It should be a terrible, it should be a terrible indication against you. It should be used against you. It should be assumed that you did something nefarious if you don't have your body cam on, right? Because all right, accidents happen, and sometimes shit goes down, and shit goes down at the worst possible time. But those two coincidences should not coincide. An incident, especially not an incident that involves you discharging your weapon, and you happen to not have your body camera on. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And honestly, also, anytime this happens, should be an investigation. Should be an automatic investigation into the whole department. How many other incidents have there been and motherfuckers didn't have their cameras on? You see what I'm saying? Because if you really was coaching your people right, that shit would never happen. This shit would never happen. And if it did happen, everybody in the department would be like, oh, that's like the worst offense. You don't understand our sergeants. You don't understand how those sergeants train us. They drill us every day. They tell us you have to turn your body camera on before you even put your gun in your holster. They literally tell us you better not put a single implementation on your police belt until you turn your body camera on. Matter of fact, they tell us to turn our body cameras on before we put our badges on. That's how it should be, right? If you really want to get this right, that's how it would be. That would be the policy. The policy is, why are you even, what do you mean you had your gun, you had your handcuffs, you had your badge on, you had your walkie-talkie, but you didn't have your camera on? What is that? No. That should never happen. So if that happens, we now need to know how frequently this happens in the entire department, which is why it would never happen. Because then every department would know that anytime there's an incident and your body camera wasn't on, that you're subjecting the entire department to like federal investigation. Bet you that shit would stop overnight. Bet you that shit would stop overnight. But we playing with this. No. That should be immediate negative inference. We should be able to infer the worst possible. We infer criminal intent. We infer you did something wrong. Yeah, just like you say us, just like they tell us, anything you say can and will be used against you. Yeah, okay. You're not having your body camera on, will be used against you in a court of law. Absolutely should be used against you in a court of law. This ain't a game.
the other officer's body camera was activated when they arrived at her house. It shows the two men speaking with Sonya before one notes her stove is on and says, "We don't need a fire while we're here." When Massey goes to turn off the stove, where a pot of water is boiling, a deputy tells her to step away from your hot, steaming water. Massey can be heard saying, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," and Grayson takes his gun out and responds, quote, "You better effing not, or I swear to God I'll effing shoot you in the effing face."
First off, what happened? As we're learning, they told her to go over there. She didn't threaten him. She didn't say, "Oh, I'm about to toss this pot of hot water on you." She didn't. They told her to go over there to turn off the stove. She goes over there, starts talking, whatever. They tell her to step away. What are you talking about? You told me to come over here to turn off the stove. I came over here to turn off the stove. Step away from what? Oh, step away from the hot pot of water. Now, why she says, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," I don't know. But y'all know this woman has been pleading the blood of Jesus since they showed up. She was already scared. And look, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This shows you what the Black experience in America is really like. I'm sorry, a lot of y'all, you know, you feel safe when you go into a neighborhood and it's a lot of increased police presence, and that makes you feel like it's gonna be low crime and all of this shit. Black folks feel like even when they have to call the police for their own safety, they're fearful that they're gonna be hurt, they're gonna be harmed, something terrible and tragic's about to happen to them. And a lot of Black folk feel that way. Think about that. I'm calling you because I heard something outside my house. I called you to make sure ain't nobody breaking into my shit. And I'm already shaking, nervous, pleading the blood of Jesus before you even when you show up. That's you could hear it in her voice. She was like, I didn't even know if I should call you. I was just wondering if y'all could help me. I didn't even know if I should call you. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. It's clear this woman has been terrified since the beginning. And sorry, cops, y'all gotta live with this shit. Y'all gotta live with this. Y'all keep killing unarmed Black people. Black people are terrified, even when you show up to help. And I'm sorry, even the good guy, because it looked like his partner was all right. But look, partner, you all right, but you couldn't stop your partner from popping off on this lady's head. And so even when we have to call on y'all, even when we know there's a lot of good cops out there that just want to show up and help us. I think one of my neighbors is a cop. He seemed cool as shit. Like, what's the problem? Like, we could it's 2024. Potheads and police, we could live in the same building now. It's all good. It's all love. But this is what people really feel. And so I think a lot of cops are sensitive to this. They know we lived in charged times. They know people have seen a lot of crazy shit on the internet, on the news. So they're aware that people, you know, a lot of people are scared. But even as a child, I was scared. One time my dad got pulled over for like speeding or something, and I just started crying. I was just so scared that we're gonna arrest my dad and take him away. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's clear she was so scared. This is so tragic, y'all.
As Sonia Massey appears to duck and twice says, "I'm sorry," the video shows Grayson moving toward her and fire 3 shots, ultimately shooting her in the face. This is a clip of the exchange leading up to the shooting.
Hey, Sang Jay.
What is your last name?
I know who that is.
Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
What? You have an ID? That'd make things so much easier. I just driver's license will do, and then I'll get out of your hair.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I
Well,
will.
that's another thing of like just routine harassment. It is, you know, pretty common for cops to be asking for IDs and stuff, but like, why? Again, this woman called you here. Why? You know, there's this thing in the back of a cop's mind where it's like, well, now I'm here. Let's see if there's anything. Let's make sure she legally lives here. Let's look around. You know what I mean? And it's like, you got to stop that, man. She called y'all. Y'all said it's nothing here. Then be on your way. Be on your way. What are you running the woman's paperwork and her ID and all of this type of stuff? Like, we accept a lot of that stuff, but you think about this, it's very undemocratic. Like, why? What do I have to show you paperwork for? Like, I just called you to see if somebody's trying to break in. Somebody's trying to break in, get up out of here.
Paperwork.
What paperwork?
Okay. I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID.
Well, let's get your ID first, and then
One task at a time.
And again, you know she's terrified. Leave her
Your ID
alone.
for me.
Okay.
Your ID. One task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
you just got that stack right there, maybe.
Okay. 1 second.
Check on her.
Let me leave this.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
All right. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
Rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
No, I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
And this is in gang, I cannot think of a better encapsulation of the Black Christian experience. Remember what I said on the first episode of Black Free Thinkers. Black people have always used Christianity to audition for full citizenship, and it has never worked. I'm gonna say it again. Black people have always used Christianity to audition for full citizenship, and it has never worked. This is that embodied. This woman, from the moment they showed up, was Jesus, 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 please don't hurt me. Jesus, please don't bleed. She started pleading the blood of Jesus right away, because that's what Black folk do. They're religious. When something happens, they get nervous, they get scared, They're in a weird situation. They plead the blood of the lamb. Okay, cool. And then here it is. She said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I don't know why she said it. It was a weird thing to say. But she clearly wasn't, she ain't do nothing threatening. She never said nothing weird. She never did nothing to them. She not being aggressive. She's clearly scared. So what is she gonna do? She gonna try to attack them? She's scared of shit already. She already scared of shit. Like, what is she gonna do? She ain't gonna do nothing. You all told her to come over here and turn off the damn hot water. She had hot water on the stove. What you expect her to do? She's gonna discard it. She's gonna put it down the drain or something, and y'all act, oh wait, don't pick up the hot pot. Don't pick up the hot pot. Put down the hot pot. Put down the hot pot. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about? So she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Black folks, remember this. Her dying words, the last words she ever spoke were, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And they shot her in the face. Again, Black folks have always used Christianity to audition for full citizenship, and it has never worked.
So after that, Sean Grayson shoots Sonia Massey. Body cam footage later records him telling his partner not to render aid to her. Records show Grayson has worked 6 different law enforcement agencies in Illinois since 2020. All of this comes as Massey's family says police first tried to cover up her killing. The Guardian newspaper obtained audio of a call from the scene in which a deputy told a dispatcher Massey's wound was self-inflicted. The family said it was also...
Do y'all understand? The first motherfucker don't have his camera on. Then they had the audacity to tell the family it was self-inflicted. This woman pled the blood of Jesus, and white police shot her dead in her face, and then told her family she did it to herself. And the one person I know in my chat is not surprised right now is Maya Atkins. Because this is what Black people go through. This is the playbook. This is how we expect it to play out. It's just some new shit now with the cameras. This is always the shit they do. You doing some weird shit. They pretend we was attacking them or something. They get real scared. They get trigger happy. Then they say we did that shit to ourselves. That's the playbook, y'all. Crazy.
Given misleading information given by police that she was shot by a neighbor. This is Massey's father, James Wilburn, at a news conference.
I was under the impression that Power had broke in and killed my baby. Never did they say there was a deputy involved shooting until my brother read it on the internet. He shared with me, he said, brother, what was Sonia's address? I told him, and he said to me, this says this is a deputy involved shooting. I said, deputy involved shooting? What are you talking about?
Sonia Massey.
No, they couldn't even keep the lies straight. One said she did it to herself, another then they say it was the neighbors. And then the family has to find out on the internet, like me and you, that really it was an officer involved shooting. Probably knowing good goddamn well the partner had body cam footage of him just murdering this woman in cold blood. After she complied, y'all. How often do you hear, don't do anything wrong, just comply? If you would have just complied, if you would have just did what the officer told you to do, none of this would have happened. It was really his fault. Really, it's the culture. You know, Black people just love being poor, being shot in the face. If they're so thuggish, you know, it's the thuggish. If they just stop thugging and comply, then none of this would have. Y'all, this woman complied and pled the blood of the lamb. Pop, 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 like it was Call of Duty, just the same.
She was the mother of 2, a 15-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son. Her killing by police has prompted protests, and both President Biden and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris issued statements saying Massey's family deserves justice. Vice President Harris said, quote, Sonia Massey deserved to be safe. Doug and I send strength and prayers to Sonia's family and friends. We join them in grieving her senseless death, unquote. Harris also called for Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Police Policing Act. For more, we're joined by Ben Crump, civil rights attorney representing the family of Sonia Massey. Can you explain?
Now, I will tell you this. Ben Crump is like the new Al Sharpton. He is the guy that is always there now to handle these cases for these police-involved shootings. And I don't say that to impugn his character. I say that to say that him being here, him being on the scene, lets you know exactly what time it is, and it lets you know that the family is serious about pursuing this and getting justice, because that is what this man does. So you know that tells you he knows what time it is.
Exactly what took place. You've been out there, Ben. You're representing the family at this point. And talk about the cover-up as well.
Well, obviously, it's a tragic beyond proportions, Amy. This is the worst police shooting video that I've seen. I mean, it is so senseless.
That says a lot, yeah.
And the video is disturbing, but the audio is equally disturbing. When you look at that video and you see him move around the counter, even though he's trying to allege the reason he shot her was because he feared that she was going to throw hot water in his face from the pot, the very pot that he sent her to get. And then he moves around the counter, I think, from an objective observation.
And again, like, have any of y'all ever left a pot of boiling water on the stove for too long? Because I have. Has it ever resulted in a fucking fire? A kitchen fire? I mean, come on now. I'm all with safety, and I understand, you know, being weird and being in somebody's house and wanting to eliminate fire hazards and shit like that. But again, like, it is a little weird that he acted like the house was about to burn down because she had some water boiling on the damn stove. Because y'all, I've left water on the stove for way too long. Way too long. Do you know what happens, y'all? Yeah, it's called evaporation. That's what happens. The water just evaporates. And you start with a big full pot of water, and you end up with a little pot full of water because most of it's become steam and evaporated. Never once in my life has leaving a boiling pot of water on the stove for hours caused a fire. For hours, y'all. I've literally done streams probably. That's what I think I'm talking about, Joe. He's like literally fucking streaming and like forgetting that I started water before I started the goddamn stream. I know most of my streams are, and they come back to kitchen like, holy shit, I done burned up all this goddamn water. And usually I have to refill the pot again and just boil more water. That's usually the consequence of it. So the whole thing is bullshit. The whole thing is just weird. It's just weird.
Looks like to get a better shot. And then he has no remorse whatsoever. When his partner says, I'm going to go get my CPR kit, he says, nah, it's a headshot. Don't worry about that. It's not gonna make a difference. She's gone.
We need to get that George Floyd Act passed. That's definitely something we need to be hitting up our Congress people, letting them know that we need. I hope this incident brings it into spotlight. I hope there is shame on every legislator that doesn't support it. And we need a house cleaning. This is a warning to all the police departments out there. What do you care about more? Your right to be racist or your money? Your money, the integrity of the police department, your ability to get equipment, your ability to advance your career. You can't have both. And so if I was running the police department, I would be pushing for the George Floyd Justice Act, and I would make sure nobody in my damn police department is on that list. And I'd be cleaning house. Because I don't have time for this. I don't want to make it sound too sinister, but I'll be like, I'm trying to run a business here, not like a for-profit sales bit, but a business. You know, protect and serve. Y'all work for the government. You're government employees. You know, you're spending people's tax dollars. Like, you have to be a good steward of the police business. And these type of lawsuits, this type of nightmare PR, this type of outrage and outcry, man, this is bad. It's bad for everybody. It's bad for everybody, especially the police leadership. So police, y'all gotta buck up and do some fucking house cleaning, or else you're gonna end up like the Secret Service director. Because to be honest, I heard that there was a problem in the Secret Service even before this whole Trump shit. But the problem wasn't them letting you know, presidential candidates get assassinated. The problem was there's too many goddamn frat boys, too much goddamn fraternizing, too much goddamn bullshit. And they were, you know, a little fast and loose as a result of that. And these police departments is the same thing. And coincidentally, it's the same people. Mm. Mm. Let's keep moving, y'all. I start preaching.
And then at one point in the video, he says,
"What's up, Toto?"
Just let her effing, and he doesn't finish his statement, but a logical comparison can conclude he's saying just let her die. And so it's troubling on every level. She needed a helping hand, Amy. She did not need a bullet to the face.
And Ben, Trump, equally disturbing is the fact that the authorities at first even withheld the actual information of what happened here. Could you talk about that and how you were able to uncover what really occurred?
Well, the family said when...
That's a good point, Maya. Anybody that don't understand systematic racism, that's it right there. Because trust me, if they shot an innocent white lady in the face, oh, heads would have already rolled. Heads would have rolled. Confessions would have been made. We made a terrible mistake. There'd be thoughts and prayers. Oh no, a black lady? Oh no, we could just gaslight the family. We could just tell them she did it. We could just tell them that she shot herself in the face. Yeah, we could just, you know, you know, she had her head wrapped. And, you know, they wrap their head. They're crazy people. Only crazy people. That's the type of shit they think. They see us with a head wrap on. Like, I'm saying, like, because you know what they say? They want to act like our do-rags and all of this. Literally, y'all, like, people, this is racism. Like, just being a normal black person makes you a target. And you can be murdered in cold blood on camera, and they'll tell your family that you did it to yourself. It's crazy.
When they initially got to her home, they kept asking what happened, who did this, and they asked questions saying, well, did she have a history with the neighbor? We're trying to find out. You know, what the family say they told them, it's under investigation, never told them that it was a police involved shooting. In fact, one of the relatives said that a nurse at the hospital was saying, they said this was self-inflicted. We saw some radio scanner back and forth where they talked about whether it was self-inflicted or not. So we don't know what the narrative was initially, but we've asked for a thorough investigation of that as well. What led up to the killing itself, and then the aftermath of the killing with the sheriff's department, because we don't believe Deputy Grayson should have never been hired in the first place. Right. He was convicted of 2 DUIs. We understand that he was discharged from the Army, and he had 6 jobs in 4-year span, different law enforcement agencies. We have reason to believe that he may...
No. How do you get discharged from the Army and then be at 4 different departments in 6 years? It feel like the nonsense with priests. Like, they just move them around, y'all. They don't really ever hold the organizations accountable. They don't really ever try to stop these people from having access and exposure. to be able to hurt more people and fuck more shit up. They just move them. They just shuffle them around. Just shuffle them around. Shuffle them around. Send them somewhere nobody's ever heard of them. Send them somewhere where what they did wasn't in the paper, and then wash, rinse, repeat.
Have been terminated from some of those law enforcement agency jobs. And so the question is, why did he even have a job as a sheriff's deputy? The judge said at the bond hearing, after watching the video that was released yesterday, that he believed Officer Grayson was a threat to public safety.
And they just let that shit go. That is crazy. Whew, y'all. That story is so sad. So sad. That just had me in my feelings today. Like, wow, this is what we're really dealing with. And it comes at these charged times where everybody wants to talk about divisive rhetoric and let's tone down the rhetoric and let's not see each other as enemies. I'm sorry. If you cannot look at the racist bullshit we're dealing with in the face and then turn around and realize that we have a whole party that's trying to demonize women, minorities, LGBTQ folks. No. We're not divisive enough with the rhetoric. It's time to take a stand, let people know whose side are you on, where are you at? Because I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Unarmed black people are still getting murdered by police. And what, you want me to compromise with the anti-DEI crowd? The people that want to call the vice president a DEI hire? The people who are anti-affirmative action? But just, no. No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. All right, I'm speaking of that. We're going to transition. We're going to be talking about Kamala Harris. And I got to tell y'all, like, just let it happen, y'all. We're trying to have nice things. Okay, do you understand? We're trying to have nice things. Okay, we're trying to have a good America. We're trying to build the future. We're trying to turn a corner. We're trying to give the people something to be excited about. Okay, some of y'all I know shit's bad and things are always bad and it always feels like things are worse. But sometimes we're actually trying to make things better. This is one of those times. Look, y'all, let's get into this story. But let me know what y'all think, because I'm excited. I'm pro Kamala, and I don't want to engage in a lot of the naysaying. Okay, I want to engage in the believing. Okay, I'm trying to build a coalition of hope. You understand what I'm saying to you right now? Let us have nice things, y'all.
President Joe Biden tonight will deliver remarks from the Oval Office on his decision to pass the baton.
That's what I'm talking about, Robin. Robin said, I signed up to work the phone bank. That's democracy at work, Robin. We need to get like Robin, y'all.
On to the next generation, embodied by his Vice President, Kamala Harris. The president's unprecedented political sacrifice has been met with party unity and extraordinary levels of enthusiasm from Democrats for the fight ahead. I'm
gonna see if I could coax my dad into doing some phone banking. Look, phone banking is it's not that crazy. So it's actually kind of fun. Usually, you with some other cool people. They give you a little script and you could just knock out a couple hours or whatever. So maybe that's a good thing we could all do. I know I'm gonna already be sending some money and giving away. I'm back in New Jersey now, y'all, and my family, especially like my dad, is heavy in the political scene here. We're politicos. I don't know if y'all know what the politicos mean. That means you're like official political people in the political world. So that just means I'm sure I'll end up at a Kamala Harris fundraiser and events and all of this type of stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna see if we could do something fun. Maybe I'll get my dad to phone bank with me for a couple hours too. Just try to make that a trend. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody else to do the same. Let's try to get a parent or an auntie or or a Christian friend. That'd be a really good idea, right? Get a Christian friend who's kind of trying to be liberal. You know, one of the good ones. Find you one of the good ones. You know, buy him lunch at Panera. You know what I mean? And then say, let's phone bank for Harris for a couple hours. You know what I mean? And just use that as a bonding experience, y'all. It's that time. It's that time.
And $26 million have been raised. More than 100,000 volunteers have signed up, and 38,500 new voters have been registered. And curtain number two, the other side, desperate and plain as day racist attacks on the de facto Democratic nominee that reveal a MAGA world in mega meltdown mode. They are trying to find ways, embodied by his vice president, Kamala Harris. The president's unprecedented political sacrifice has been met with party unity and extraordinary levels of enthusiasm from Democrats for the fight ahead. $126 million have been raised. More than 100.
Look, listen, y'all. I know she will be the first woman president. I know people are misogynist. I know they're racist. But they're also not the base. We're not after those people. Most of the people that are, I'm not going to vote for a woman, I'm not going to vote for a black person, they're not going to vote Democrat. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. They weren't going to vote Democrat, period. And most of those people were also not going to vote for Joe Biden because he was too old. That's how bigotry works, right? Like, that's how bigots are. You know what I mean? You can't make a bigot happy. They hate everybody because that's what being a bigot is. So they're really not the base. This is about energizing and motivating the base. In addition, really being stronger in the swing states, okay, which that's where he was sliding a lot and having really big problems, and getting the independents that we can get, and even like the moderate Republicans, the never Trumpers, those people like that, okay. And if we think about those people, they're much more reasonable people, and I just don't think they have that electoral piss and vinegar for women and minorities the way others do. I get other people's skepticism. I'm not here to throw shade on anybody who doesn't agree with me or thinks differently. I'm really not. I'm just here to, like, see where y'all are at and let y'all know where I'm at. But so I understand the people who are pessimistic about her chances. But look, this is all very positive. $126 million raised. Let's be honest. The real story is, in a 48-hour period since she was announced as, probably going to be the person, she set a record. Nobody's ever raised that much money that quickly. So that's amazing. That literally means she broke Obama records, y'all. Like, the most money ever in that period of time. Like, that's not an indication that people are not willing to vote for her. They may not. They may be bluffing. They may be bullshitting. But fundraising records, that's great. That's a good indication that your candidate is doing really, really well. Okay. 100,000 volunteers. That's the Robins. That's nice. See how it works. See, Robin gets excited. Robin's like, I'm gonna do some phone banking. She messages on the street, I should do some phone banking too. Then some of y'all like, yeah, I should do some phone banking too. You see how this goes? This is it happening in real time. We're trying to have nice things. 100,000 volunteers signing up. That's enthusiasm. The problem we were having with Joe Biden was an enthusiasm gap. He's a good man. He has decent policies. He was a good president. All of that just wasn't moving the needle for people. They were just too stuck on the bad narrative. This is showing people are energized again. 38,500 new registered voters already. That means she's already creating new voters, y'all. That's the ultimate indication, especially swing people. That is swing people. If you're in July and you hadn't really committed to a candidate or even decided you were registered to vote, yeah. All I'm saying, y'all, you don't have to believe she's gonna do it. I know there's a lot of reservations, but these are all really, really good signs.
100,000 volunteers have signed up, and 38,500 new voters have been registered. And curtain number two, the other side, desperate and plain as day racist attacks on the de facto Democratic nominee that reveal a MAGA world in mega meltdown mode. They are trying to find ways to smear her any way that they can, from attacking the way Vice President Kamala Harris laughs to her endearingly nerdy love of Venn diagrams, and they're doing it with blatant and ugly racism. They're suggesting that a woman who spent 7 years as San Francisco's district attorney, who served as California Attorney General, a United States senator, and is currently America's vice president, is somehow unqualified for the job that Donald Trump once held, that she is only where she is because of her race. Again, unlike their guy who once hosted The Apprentice. Take a listen to what they're saying.
And again, y'all, this is what's happening to so many people. And it really humanizes her, especially for marginalized voters, because the same thing is happening to us. The same thing is happening to us. The same thing. I guarantee you, when I show up at my job that starts this fall, I guarantee you, despite having a dual PhD, despite coming out of the lab of the most famous researcher in my field, in the history of my field, despite everything I've accomplished, despite the prestigious training programs I was in, despite all my experience, people will see me as a DEI hire. Despite my legacy at the goddamn institution. The fact that I'm literally a second generation Seton Haller, the fact that my dad worked at the damn place for 20 years, none of that will matter. They will just see me as a DEI hire. Not everybody, but a lot of people will. And some of them will even say so. As soon as they don't like something I do, as soon as they don't like something I say, as soon as a student complains or something, they'll be, well, you know, we want to hire someone to, well, you know, you're only here because da-da-da-da-da-da. So when they hurl that attack at her, we hear that. And so many of us that are educated, qualified, hardworking, quite frankly, overachieving according to most people's standards, yet still, just because of our identity, we're seen as not qualified. And that's always, it's all, well, I just don't agree. I just think they're incompetent, da, 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 always. And so this is great because before this, they were pretending, y'all. Trump got, the guy grazed Trump's ear, and Jesus saved Trump. And since Jesus saved Trump, they were going to be unity, and we have to come together, and all of this type of bullshit. No. Now, with this candidate, they're going to show us their ass every day. They're going to remind us exactly who they are, exactly how they feel about women, exactly how they feel about minorities, exactly how sexist they are. And you know what that's going to do? Yeah, them same people we was talking about, them swing state voters, those independents, those moderates. Yeah, it's not going to help them. It's not going to help. It's not going to work. So I actually kind of like that. I like that she brings it out of them. I like that she doesn't allow them to pretend to be civil because we're having this dance among good old boys in the white guy club. No, now tell us what you really think, Republicans. And they do. Every time.
The only reason Kamala's in the White House is because of the DEI deal Biden cut with Bernie.
And of course, her whole history is DEI, diversity, exclusion, and equity.
What about white females?
Y'all check out the link in the description for Stephanie, for Bree, for Ember, and for the transpositions. Man, we are just loving the transposition. How good is the transposition, y'all? Sometimes we just gotta give ourselves a little credit for the shit we doing down here. Transpositions is excellent. You know what else is excellent? Maya Atkinson, Bad Science Sunday. I mean, come on now. Then you got to subscribe to Skeptic Haven. We doing Black Free Thinkers. Our community's out here doing stuff too, y'all. Don't sleep on us. We out here.
What about any other group? It just, when you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
Apparently, they feel, or a lot of Democrats feel, they have to stick with her because of her ethnic background.
Intellectually, just really kind of the bottom of the barrel. I think she was a DEI hire.
Maybe we should.
Intellectually, the bottom of the barrel. Your guy is Trump. Your guy failed up. Like, they just, I love it. Just let him keep being hypocritical.
To tell them it's working, right? Keep saying that stuff, guys.
Exactly.
The comments reflect so horrifically on the Republican Party that House Republican leadership has reportedly begged Republican members behind closed doors to stop their racist attacks. Even former House Speaker Republican Kevin McCarthy spoke up to chastise his fellow Republicans. Here he is talking to NBC's Garrett Haig.
I would say two attacks I've heard Republicans give that are totally stupid and dumb to do is the DEI attack. This DEI, that seems like a petty. Look, I disagree with DEI.
You heard him saying, I disagree with DEI. Y'all, this is 2024, and this is the moment we live in. We just watched an unarmed black woman get shot in the face after pleading the blood of Jesus to a white cop. And here we have former elected officials, party leaders, serious people in the Republican Party who are okay looking us straight in the face on national TV and telling us they're against DEI. I'm just saying, the choice is pretty clear for me. The choice is pretty clear for me.
But she is the vice president of the United States. She is the former U.S. senator. These congressmen that are saying it, they're wrong in their own instance.
It's a bit more than petty, though, isn't it? Yeah, you know it is. Here's former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger calling it out for exactly what it is.
This is a disgusting dog whistle. It's not even a dog whistle anymore. It's an outright whistle. What they're saying is only white men are deserving of certain positions.
How did that work out, right? How'd your white man do? Today in a speech in Indianapolis, Vice President Harris stood above this fray, keeping her focus on the future and on the issues and the dangers of a second Trump term. Watch.
Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to live without fear of bigotry and hate, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, the freedom to learn and acknowledge our true and full history, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
I'm sorry, y'all, but that shit was very presidential to me. She hit all my notes. She was talking about our freedoms, our right to vote, our LGBTQ rights, our reproductive rights. Yes. See, here's the thing. Trump is so fucking divisive and evil, and he's so annoying, and you hate everything he says. And Joe Biden is a genuinely decent person. But that's what Joe Biden gives you. Decent. Like, oh yeah, that was decent. You know what I'm saying? Like a decent man who says decent things. That was strong. That was like, yeah. And on top of that, I believe her. You believe her. You believe her because she knows. Like, I say this. Kamala Harris is a black woman like my mother's a black woman. Yeah, maybe light skinned, but reads as black and has her whole life and knows what it is like to be overqualified and be told you're a DEI hire. Knows what it's like to be deemed unworthy of being in a certain position. Knows what it's like to be oppressed, to be marginalized. Knows the fear that women have of not being able to make their own choice of birthing persons, any of those. Like, gets what's really at stake, y'all. And so I'm with it. I love it. I think she's doing great. And she could keep it like that. I don't need her to experiment. I don't need her to be the wisest, most eloquent. I don't need 90-minute Kamala dissertations. I really don't. I need 5 minutes. Rah rah. Make sure your priorities are on. Let's get up out of here and go.
In this moment, our nation, as it always has, is counting on you to energize, to organize, and to mobilize. We know when we organize, mountains move. When we mobilize, nations change. And when we vote, we make history.
The GOP, stoking racism in America as the de facto Democratic nominee, focuses on the future and what is possible. It's where we start today. With me at the table, former Assistant U.S. Attorney, President of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, Maya Wiley's here. Plus, Princeton University professor, distinguished political scholar, and author Eddie Glaude is here. And chief political columnist and host of the podcast In Politic for Puck, MSNBC National Affairs analyst John Heilman's here. Also joining us, MSNBC political analyst Erin Haynes. She's the editor-at-large for the 19th and host of the podcast, The Amendment. Maya Wiley, the vice president.
I just got to say, my man, my bald guy, first of all, I see all these commentators quite a bit on MSNBC, but you know you're dealing with a guy who thinks he's one of the down-ass white dudes when he's on a panel of black scholars and he's the one flexing and stunting and he's the one got the Wu-Tang sticker on his device. Yeah, I'd probably invite him to the cookout. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real. It's funny. But yeah, I'd probably invite him to the cookout. Let's see what he has to say. Pretty probably cool.
President is not engaged in any of this. She has proven herself already, not just in 3 days as the de facto nominee, but in months now on the campaign trail, as focused on a rather singular message: we're not going back. And her crowds are already chanting that.
Yeah, and there's a direct line, Nicole, from the DE&I attack to Project 2025, this blueprint that says very explicitly that it wants to go after all the protections we created in civil rights laws through the civil rights movement, through the 60 years, sitting here on the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. When you hear them say she's a DE&I fill in the blank, in addition to its overt racism and sexism, and I'm going to say it out loud, it is overtly sexist and racist to say that by virtue of the fact that she's a woman and a woman of color, she's not qualified, because that's all they're saying, is exactly the same thing that they've put in the blueprint as the plan for the country, to say we will undermine the ability of the federal government to assert, enforce, and protect us from employment discrimination, that we will try to close and shutter the Department of Education if we can. But if we can't, we'll just make sure any of the complaints of our children, whether they're being bullied because they're Jewish, by the way, or because they're Muslim, or because they're black or Asian or anything else, we're going to take the power of them to force our civil rights laws away to protect our children in schools. That is what was in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This messaging is explicit in that project, and what Kamala Harris is doing, both as a vice president, because I've been with her when she has made these statements as a vice president as a matter of policy, and what she's explaining to the American public is we have a choice for the future, and it's either to be in the future or it's to go back to the dark ages. And I think she's making it plain and clear.
I mean, the only fight that's sort of underway is on the right? You got Kevin McCarthy and Adam Kinzinger, two Republicans, scolding Republicans, voices on the right, making this attack. Not only, I would guess, because it's immoral, but because it stinks as a political line of attack.
It does, but see, this is the thing. They're done. Their goose is cooked. This is their base. This is what they have to do. This is, and they can't. They can try to pretend for a couple of seconds that some of them remember what it looks like to be a normal politician and to govern like an actual adult. But the truth is they haven't, because this has been a legacy for so long. When you go back, it's not that this became the Republican Party overnight, but you can go through the eras, Nixon, Reagan, like all of these people that we literally speak of as like demonic entities from our country's past, right? The Bushes were wildly unpopular, right? And so they've just been hanging on to this, and they've always been this way. There's just a legacy of bigotry that has repelled all reasonable people from that party. And now, even when they want to pretend like they've still got their shit together, they just can't, because their base is actually full of rabid people who want that red meat. And the people that are in touch with that base realize that. And so they're always going to be playing whack-a-mole, trying to keep their worst instincts under wraps.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it, though. The toothpaste is out of that tube.
There it is.
I mean, the entire MAGA movement is predicated on this not even dog whistle, on this grievance, on this sense of hatred. The sense of the demographic shifts in the country, that the browning of America, the idea that big government has put its thumb on the scale such that these folk can jump ahead of the line, the very ways in which merit is being deployed in order to, shall we say that someone like me shouldn't be at Princeton, for example, because it's precisely because of affirmative action. So all of that has been at the heart of MAGA since he came down the escalator. So the idea that somehow we're going to go back to the 90s and the 80s and do dog whistles? No, foghorns. That's all they do is foghorns.
Yo, this is crazy. And this is just the time we live in. Like, some of y'all told a story to, but like when I was trying to find housing out here, I sent the company and they denied my housing and told me that they didn't believe my letter from the university that I provided, saying that I was going to be an assistant professor at the university. So we're literally living in the time still where people of color are told we don't have the jobs we have because people can't wrap their head around seeing a person that looks like us in the positions that we've earned. So she's the right candidate for this moment. Now I wanted to bring this to your attention because there's something I kind of noticed, which is I think that as much as I love our community and I love being online, and I love the fact that most of us are like liberal and progressive, and as a result of that, we've kind of rejected mainstream media sources. Part of what I wanted to say to y'all today is I want you to watch a little bit more MSNBC. I want you to watch a little bit more CNN. I want you to watch a little bit more Fox News. I'm not saying make that your whole news diet. You don't even have to watch it on cable. You can watch clips on social media, clips on YouTube. But I think it's really important that people do, because you want to stay in touch with the mainstream narrative. You have to recognize that, yeah, it's cool to be in like a super leftist, progressive headspace and to get your news from, really critical sources that are going to give you like a, critical take on things. And that's all great. But you want to make sure you kind of understand what the kitchen table conversation is in the rest of America, right? And sometimes like I find myself frustrated in conversation with people because I'm like, you're not paying attention to what the world is talking about right now, right? And you gotta, I hate to say it, but those sources are mainstream for a reason. That's the same reason I read the New York Times. Yeah, I don't have a high opinion of everything I read in the New York Times, but understanding what mainstream newspapers are saying right now in this moment about things is an important part of understanding the landscape and the lay of the land and understanding where we're going and what's possible. And so even like early on when I started talking about Joe Biden stepping aside, it wasn't me saying I hate Joe Biden, I wish he would step aside. I've been told people I didn't like Joe Biden, I wish he would step aside, and my frustrations with his candidacy or whatever. But I was really just saying, this is the narrative that's happening. After that debate happened, this is what's all over the news. This is what's all over the mainstream media. He's not going to be able to run from this. He's not going to be able to get away from this. It just is what it is, and it just was what it was. And now it's a very similar thing. Like, I know people are, oh, I don't know, like I don't know, if, she's going to beat Trump. That's legit. We don't know if she's going to beat Trump. She's about where Biden was in some cases, and she's doing better in some important ways, but certainly not enough where people feel like it's necessarily a slam dunk today, but things are looking pretty good. We ultimately don't know what the results of the election are going to be, but her record fundraising, her record enlistment of volunteers, registering new voters, the memification of Kamala Harris that we see, where a lot of celebrities are endorsing her and they're making songs and making videos and dances and all this type of stuff. That's all huge. That's a ton of enthusiasm from young people and young people of color that you didn't see with Joe Biden. So we're in a real moment right now where Kamala is considered a cultural phenomenon. Like, this is a big deal. She's considered a big deal. And again, I get the skepticism and I get people's apprehension that it'll ultimately work out in the end, but take the moment for what it is. This is big. This is big. This is the enthusiasm we were looking for. There's a really good indication she might be able to basically bring together the Obama coalition. Also, a couple realities I want people to think about. Barack Obama is still, of all the elected officials or people that have been elected in the Democratic Party, he is still in many ways considered like the king in some sense. Like he's still considered wildly electable, right? Like if Barack Obama was on the ballot, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. Why am I bringing that up? It says even now, the most popular elected official in the Democratic Party is a black man. So the party base ain't but so racist. Yes, I get that there's sexism and that's a problem, but again, let's not forget Hillary Clinton had a lot of issues personally, politically as a candidate, and in terms of her campaign operation, and she still won the popular vote. Okay? The one person that polls around Barack Obama, the one person that if we could play real fantasy baseball and just get anybody into the race we wanted, is Michelle Obama. When you do people's polls and they literally let them fantasize, oh, what about bringing Hillary back or da-da-da-da-da. Nobody does better than Michelle Obama, which again says people believe that the most galvanizing influence in the party is, again, a black woman. So me personally, I don't share people's pessimism about the people we need voting for a woman of color. I think most of our base is there. I think the choice is clear. I think Trump being the alternative dramatizes and highlights that choice and makes it an even starker contrast. I think given all the anti-DEI stuff, all the misogyny, all the racism, still having unarmed black people killed in their homes over hot water, I just think she's the right candidate for right now. And I think what we're seeing is really, really incredible. The other thing is I want to address the narrative about her being a cop. One, I think it's a little unfair. Yes, prosecutors are involved in law enforcement, but calling them cops is a bit of a stretch, just to be honest with you. Also, she hasn't been that in a long time. Yeah, she was a DA. Yeah, she was the state's attorney, but she became a senator. Then she was the vice president. She ran for president in the meantime. So just like most people, like her career has developed and moved on, and like I just she's not even really a prosecutor anymore. Like that is her background, that is her training, but like I'm not on that page. Like I get it, but no. Also, the narrative, people talk about it like, oh well, her history, and I've heard like big streamers and people saying it's like, oh, her history is just like locking up black men, da da da. Like that's not going to play well in the black community. Again, Kamala, like our mamas, we voting for Kamala, we voting for Mamala. Okay, My mother's excited about Kamala. My mother is like, my mother said she was lifted out of a political depression, y'all. My mom don't even like to talk about politics, but she said she's been lifted out of a political depression. That's how excited my mother is about Kamala Harris. So this idea that like black men, we're not gonna vote for somebody who looks like our mamas and talks like our mamas because she used to discipline people like our mamas, like it's just not gonna waste. Nobody cares. Like, which I don't see that being a thing. And sometimes people say it as though that's why she took the job. Like she took the job as prosecutor so she could put black men in jail. Like, are y'all crazy? You really? Just go sit in a room and think about what you just said. That's just not the case. And as a as a prosecutor, she doesn't get to control the law. You become a prosecutor because you want to stop crime. Normally, you want to serve your community. Believe it or not, it's considered good, right? Like when you get out of law school, you can make a lot of money as a private attorney. You can make a lot of money as a corporate attorney. It is considered a good way to build like goodwill and a good public reputation to do something like either being a prosecutor or being a public defender. And it's something a lot of people do even throughout their careers to build those relationships and maintain those relationships. And it's definitely considered great if you have ambitions of maybe being a judge someday or running for public office. But you do have to prosecute cases, and you don't choose what's on the docket. You don't choose what cases come before the court, usually. And you have to prosecute. You have to prosecute the law, and you're not a lawmaker. You're the prosecutor. And I'll be honest with you, I used to work in a prosecutor's office, and I used to prosecute marijuana cases in a city and most of the defendants were black. Like, did that mean that I signed up for that because I wanted to lock black people up? No, exactly the opposite, right? I wanted to serve the city. It was very clear what my desire was. My desire was to put myself in a position where I could work for the law department and serve the city of Newark under Cory Booker, and that's what I did. And I was interested in a career as a prosecutor. Why? Because of prosecutorial discretion. When you get to a certain level as a prosecutor, you can decide what the priorities of your office are going to be, or what dispositions you're going to seek for certain cases, what sentencing recommendations and guidelines you're going to pursue, and things like that. But you have to get the job to have that discretion and to be in that position. And so everybody knew that I'm a stoner and I'm a huge liberal and I'm a huge marijuana legalization advocate. And part of what I was really interested in doing was being a prosecutor and then using my power as a prosecutor to make that not a high priority. And so that was the training for it. I worked in a prosecutor's office and they put me in criminal court and let's do it. You know what I mean? And I'm really grateful. I had an awesome experience and I helped a lot of defendants. We did what we call the ghetto decriminalization. Basically, is if somebody, if they didn't have like a weapons charge that really forced us to do something a little bit more, or like a robbery charge, if they didn't have anything else with it, if it was just like some, seriously like nonviolent, like drug possession shit, like they got what's called wandering. Like they would get charged with a misdemeanor, but we'd get them off with like a city ordinance. And it was, it was like what we did it was like harm reduction. Like we had to prosecute them, but you prosecute them in like the least harmful way possible. And that's compassionate. That's what compassionate prosecutors do. And so, I think people need to take a wider view of the justice system. It's not going to go away. We're not going to snap our fingers and they're just going to get rid of the justice system. And if you shame all of the liberal people and progressive people who go into the system, then who do you think stays in power? Who do you think the judges are going to be? Who do you think the prosecutors are going to be? Who do you think the cops are going to be? And what do you think is going to happen as a result? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen as a result. You're going to get videos like we started with. You're gonna get cops who think they can kill black people and get away with it and lie about it and cover it up and all that type of stuff. You actually need compassionate law enforcement officers. You need progressive police. You need progressive justices and judges. And yes, you need progressive and compassionate prosecutors. They make the system better for everyone. And I firmly believe that. And I worked with people who were like that. They absolutely were not out to put people in jail or to arrest black people. No, none of that. None of that. None of that. These are people very dedicated to their city, very dedicated to the people of the city, and literally saw their job as minimizing the harm and intrusion that the justice system caused to their lives. And doing so, taking pay cuts and sacrificing other great career opportunities to do so because they thought it was the best thing they could do with their time and their resources. So I just want to share that perspective with y'all, give y'all a little bit of, let's rethink this whole Kamala the cop narrative. And again, I know she's got a long record. She was a career prosecutor. You're not going to get to be the state's attorney and the attorney general of San Francisco, without being a serious prosecutor. But let's be real, she was also elected senator from maybe the most liberal state in the union, California. So record couldn't have been too bad, right? And again, she's just not a cop anymore. And what you do want, though, I think, is a president who has a serious perspective on these things, who understands, for instance, the implications of the Supreme Court rulings, who understands the implications of the Trump trials, who understands the implications of the need for police accountability. And to me, having a competent person who's been a state's attorney at a very high level, who really, really, really understands the criminal justice system way beyond what we're used to with most politicians and most presidents in particular, I think is an actual asset right now. That's just me. I really do. I really do. Because we need real oversight. And the president is the top cop. If y'all don't know what your city's organization look like, but the executive is always the top cop. So you may think the police chief is the top cop in your city, but the police chief boss is the mayor. Yeah, there's a director of police or whatever who oversees the state police, but the top cop in every state is the governor. Okay? And just like that, the head over all federal law enforcement is the president. And most presidents don't have that in their background. So maybe it's actually an asset that Kamala is that intimately familiar with the justice system. I really do. I really do believe that. And again, look at her narratives, look at her priorities. She's pro-LGBTQ. She's, the Bidens under they finally are trying to federally decriminalize marijuana and stuff like that. So I think a lot of the issues that we're concerned about being oppressed over policing, I think actually she's going to help. She's going to be an asset on those issues, and that will keep a lot of us out of trouble. I think if the other guy gets in law, then we're fucked. Because they want to kickstart the war on drugs. They're not going to give up on the war on drugs. They're going to bring the war on drugs back in full force. All Trump ever does is rail about drugs coming across the southern border. They want to criminalize being LGBTQ. They want to get rid of all the DEI protections and anti-discrimination laws and all that type of shit, and make Trump a czar. So no, let's bring in somebody for real, because I'm telling y'all, I get it, all cops are bastards and everybody hates the police, but when you need them, your mind will change. I guarantee you. I have seen what compassionate prosecution blows people's minds. I've seen defendants in tears because they were so happy with how we were treating them because it was so different. That it makes a difference, y'all. I'll tell you this story too. Before I moved, somebody stole my damn moped. They went in my backyard, cut my chain, and literally stole my moped. It's my only form of transportation. And I reported it to the police. Of course. What else would you do? You got a vehicle stolen. Believe it or not, before I moved, the cops called me. Yeah, Mr. Bundy, we wanted to let you know we found your moped. It's at, yeah, we had it towed. It's at Northside Towing. You know, go check it out. Now, to be honest with you, them people did my moped dirty. They stripped it down for parts. They fucked it up. They painted it. It didn't even look like itself. It was so, and you know, it took so much off of it. I just turned it over because it would have cost me more money to fix it and get it back right than it would have to just replace it. But I thanked the police because I was shocked. I didn't expect them to really even look for it. You know, I live in college town, so like mopeds get stolen all the time. But I was like, damn, like y'all spent actual manpower like trying to find my moped because it was important to me. And I was really grateful. Even though it didn't work out, even though the vehicle was so damaged, I was just like really grateful. Like, damn, y'all really like y'all went out there and found my shit. Like, damn, thank you. Like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate that. You know, and that's what matters, y'all. Because I'm telling you, somebody breaks into your house tonight and steals your shit, you're gonna want to call the cops. Somebody steals your car, you're gonna want to call the cops. The guy who loses the campaign tries to do a coup on the Capitol, yeah, we're gonna want some strong law enforcement. They're trying to elect a goddamn felon. Yeah, we're gonna need some serious legal people up in this bitch, right? Like, there comes a time where we got to be adults too. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about prison abolition. I'm all about police reform. All of that. The left is not left enough for me. I can tell you that right now. But in the meantime, we need to put the best people possible in these positions. And if we keep telling our people that they're traitors for being police or being prosecutors or being judges, and we only get the racist assholes in those positions, and that's not good for anybody. So I say I'm just not really interested in that narrative right now. I know where people are coming from. I get it. It's just hard for them to like support a prosecutor. I get that feeling. That's why I don't talk about my experience at the prosecutor's office a ton. I know people feel that way, but I loved it. I loved it. It was what I really thought I wanted to do with my life at one time. And I was really grateful to have that experience and to get a little perspective about what most prosecutors are really like. And they're probably a little bit different than what you might imagine. So look, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thanks for showing up. There's a little documentary I kind of want to watch that I was checking out earlier. It's like The Enemy Within or something. It's about how radicalized former military people have become, and how that's a real problem that we're having in our society right now. January 6th and Trump and that type of thing. So it looks really good. I actually started watching the first few minutes of it and I paused it like, oh shit, this is so good. I want to watch this with the gang. So I'm gonna probably put that on and gather, play some video games, hang out, play some college football, just try to relax. But yeah, I'm still moving, y'all. But I wanted to get on here. I definitely really wanted to talk to y'all about the shooting that was just so tragic. And all I think we can do, honestly, I hate to sound opportunistic, but we need to capitalize on the fact that this is happening in an election year. And we need to make sure that police accountability is on the ballot as well, in addition to abortion, in addition to voting rights, in addition to the economy, in addition to LGBTQ rights, in addition to all those other issues. Oh, trust me, as a Black man, I am 100% committed to doing everything I can to make the people know that I feel like this is one of the top issues that needs to be on the ballot. And let's think about who's really going to bring us that accountability. And then I wanted to let y'all know my thoughts on Kamala, which, believe it or not, y'all, it's just optimistic. It's just actually like I just feel like there's a lot of really good indicators, a lot of really good energy. And I think it'd be good to just ride the wave right now. It's gonna get rough. There's gonna be hiccups. There's gonna be tough moments. There's gonna be polls that make us bite our fingernails and all that type of stuff. Let the other shoe drop when it drops. For now, let's push this woman to the sky. Let's defeat Trumpism up and down the ballots in all 50 states. And let's make history. Don't y'all want to see it? Don't y'all want to know that this country has had a woman president? Why should Barack Obama be the only right? The only person to come? Like, come on, y'all. Kamala's trying to make history. I say we help her. I'm with it. So look, love y'all. After party and gather. If you're not subbed, please sub. If y'all like this, like the video. If you're watching later, leave me some comments. Let me know. What do y'all think should be done about that shooting? Do y'all think it's murder the way I think it's murder, or what? And let me know what you think about Kamala. I do want to hear y'all opinions. And again, for the record, I heard a lot of stuff on the news. I hear a lot of different stuff and different commentators. So I'm not coming at anybody that thinks differently. You know, if you don't agree with me or you don't think you're gonna win or whatever, like we don't need to argue about it. It's fine. Like it's everybody can have their thoughts. It's all good. But yeah, love y'all. I'll be in gather.